Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
We are Community Radio's Ne'er-Do-Wells, the audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcasts from. I am Andrew, next to the man who breaks up with his girlfriends by letting them know they have expired. It's Dick, Cockroach Killer Schisler. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Happy post-Christmas.
Yeah, it is post-Christmas. I got to ask you something.
Sure, man.
Is the day after Christmas usually like a holiday for a lot of people?
I think it's 50-50. It's kind of funny that you said that because as I was driving in, the traffic seemed really light. So my guess is yes.
Yeah, because the city of Conroe is closed today. And I was wondering what because I know the county and the city have different alternative holidays. Because sometimes when you come to downtown Conroe, like the county might be closed for whatever holiday they see the holiday. What do they call it? They
Observed, right?
And so like half the downtown will be dead, and then the city will be open. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. They don't really do it with the county, and then vice versa. So like I think the county might be open. Like if you get arrested or something, you can go to court. Yeah. I think it's hit and miss. I think some businesses are giving you like Christmas Eve observed on the 27th, or I'm sorry, the 26th, the day after. Some did it the Friday before. Well, I think it's kind of all over the place. Most importantly, the liquor stores are back open.
Thank God. That was a very nerve-wracking 48 hours, was it not? But we survived somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But Christmas happened. So New Year's is coming up. I'm excited.
Yes, we know that you are more of a New Year's kind of guy, so I know this is your day.
I mean, Christmas is still fun. I think one thing I love about Christmas is everyone it's nice to have a holiday or a day that everyone kind of relax. Like, everyone's relaxing. Mm-hmm. So with Christmas being on a Monday, you get that extra day of seeing your friends or hanging out. And nothing like going to a bar on Christmas Eve, because there's a certain type of person that does that.
It's an interesting clientele on Christmas Eve at a bar.
I did not go to a bar this year, but I have done it many times.
Congratulations.
Many times.
Congratulations. Baby steps.
Well, you when you have that friendship with a guy, with a buddy, and he's always down to start a fire and drink some whiskey, and I'm like,
right.
All right, easy. That's an easy decision to make. But I was thinking back in the day when I lived in Houston, on one of my brothers, we all lived we would go Christmas Eve to see my grandmother and grandfather, and then that usually, with them being old, that was usually over by like 7 or 8, and then we'd always go to a place called Ron's Pub in Houston.
Oh, ain't nothing good going down at Ron's Pub on a Christmas Eve.
Oh, that place!
Good grief!
It's old school Houston, and it reminds me of one of those places that you used to be allowed to smoke in.
Oh yeah!
So it has that feel to it.
I would assume you were required to smoke in a place called Ron's Pub.
And
you walk in, here's your lighter.
Well, what's hilarious is one side of the place is like a lounge. Like they have those really nice chairs, and like it was like a cigar place.
Very classy.
And then the other side was just straight up bar, and it's a dart bar.
Oh boy!
And so, but again, it's like the neighborhood bar, and you get to see all the people. I guarantee you, if you go to Ron's Pub every Christmas Eve, you're going to see the same people.
Oh yeah,
every time.
So is this place still around?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. My apologies to those Ron's Pub locals and frequenters. My bad.
Oh, it was great. There's some great memories. I got a great story for you off the air.
Okay, excellent. Off-air AOO show. Love it.
Yeah, there was. I'll tell you a little bit about it right now. So my brothers are older than I am, and it's always fun to hang out with your older brothers when you're new to being old. And
yeah, I think I understand. Yeah.
Well, this is like when I graduated college. Like I never really got to hang out with them.
Yeah, right. You're able to go to the bars now for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. With them
or be them in that setting.
Right. I'm an adult now, guys.
And my cousin was like, my cousins would come with us because it's just down the street from my grandparents' place. And there was this girl there. I don't know how old she was, but she had the most annoying like voice, like man, I kind of like that. Remember that Friends episodes where that one woman that Chandler liked?
Yes, yeah,
It's like meh, meh, like
what was her
sounded
name?
like that.
Jeanette,
Something like that. Well,
Dang it,
this
yeah.
woman had this voice, and I couldn't help but laugh every time I could hear.
Chandler.
I can hear her, and I'm like, this woman is out of control. Well, anyway, my brother, as a funny thing, he goes over there and talks to her, right?
Yeah, he does.
And
Just to hear her voice.
well, no, he goes over there and talks because I kept making comments like, I go, this woman is hilarious. I don't know who it is. She sounds terrible. It's so much fun to like. All of a sudden, it's like an alarm goes off. Well, anyway, he goes over there and starts talking me up to her.
Oh,
And all this stuff. And next thing I know, it's like around like 11 o'clock. And this woman walks up to me and she's like, knows my name and starts talking to me. I'm like,
awesome.
who is this? Who are you? And then it's like, oh, your brother told me so much about you. And I'm like, which one of these guys did this? But it was an interesting night. There's
And how long did you date her?
Just till I brought her home.
Right.
But
That's a good gag. I like that.
But yeah, I looked at my brother. I was like, "You sly dog! I like this guy."
Yeah.
But yeah, the Christmas bar scene is always interesting. It's so depressing.
It kind of does have that air of depressionness to it, no doubt.
But I don't know why though.
Well, I guess I think it's like, isn't everybody supposed to be home with your family right now? I mean, that's the rule. That's the social pressure.
Well, I don't
and
have a
since
family.
You're not,
So,
oh yes, you do.
well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But it is, for whatever reason, it does seem like the ne'er-do-wells again of society are there hanging out at midnight on Christmas Eve. It's
all
like,
we
dude,
have something in common.
You need to be in bed. Santa Claus is visiting you.
We're either ex-convicts or
Right.
unloved by our family, or both. So, but yeah. So I hope you had a good Christmas. You have a family. I always forget you have a family because
Yeah, I forget too sometimes. It's
Yeah.
weird. No, just kidding. No, it was nice, man. It was nice. Just did the Christmas morning with the wife and kids, and it's a good time. Good time. I had the unfortunate event of the previous week being sick, and I hadn't been sick like this in a while, but it was quite a nasty bug. But I had the added bonus of injuring myself while being sick, and nothing makes you feel really old like being sick and injuring yourself. And in this case, I was just plugging something in underneath my desk, and in doing so, I must have pulled something in my back, strained something, because it was one of those instantaneous, and I couldn't move. There was probably a good 2 days where I could not stand upright or have full movement with this. And it seemed like it was more so on the right side of my back than my left side. And I found something out that it was awfully difficult to clean my backside normally with my right hand. And I was forced to do it with my offhand, which was awfully strange. It was a whole new take on the Stranger, no doubt. You ever had to do that with your offhand?
talking about the Billy Joel album,
What? Stranger?
The Stranger.
Well, it kind of felt like that. Maybe that was a song I had playing in my head. But trying to properly clean yourself with your offhand is interesting.
You don't have
to say
a
the
wall
least.
that's made out of like brushes.
You can just run your backside
Just
up
like,
and down,
Gotta clean everything.
or bidet.
Or you don't have someone help you.
Yeah,
clean?
yes, my own backside cleaner. Yeah, now that is a flex.
Let's call it a wife.
Wouldn't be your wife for very
Zing.
long, I have a feeling.
No,
Let's just say I had to make sure that my hand washing routine was really on point after that.
I think everyone's been in that scenario, not the cleaning thing, but
worst.
like you're reaching for a pencil or something, and you're in your mind like, oh, I can grab that, like I got it, and
especially in the backseat of the car.
you're doing some type of jiu-jitsu move, trying to get to it, and then next thing you know, like, oh, my armpit is stretched, and the muscle under my why is that hurt?
Yeah, you just tweak something.
Yeah.
And again, on top of it, I was sick. That was just
It's probably
because
because you're not a vegan. Because I
is
hear
that it?
vegans don't have any problems.
Oh, right, and they'll let
Yeah.
you know about it too. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know any vegans.
Well, would they let you know about it somehow on the internet?
I might have known a vegan they used to be a vegan, but why can't you just eat the food you want to eat and not worry about?
Just leave everybody alone.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know, man. You're the one who brought it up.
You know, it's really funny. Speaking of food and meat, this is gonna sound really weird. I've never had prime rib.
Okay.
I don't know why I never had it. I think it's one of those things where like when you go to, because they usually serve it at like a fancy buffet.
Buffet with the guys carving it off. Yeah.
And I just never got it.
To me, it always looks a little undercooked. And I think if you're a person who likes your meat cooked, prime rib is not.
Are you a person that likes their meat?
Yeah, I like it cooked. I don't like rare
Anyway,
at all.
Well, anyway, I told my buddy this, and his wife was like, I've been craving a prime rib. Let's go get prime rib.
And you've never had it yet. You were craving it.
Well, she was.
Oh, okay.
And so I was just like, well, I go, where do you go?
Wow.
Where do you go and get it? And they were like, they named off a bunch of places. Like, I had no idea you could get this. Like, I've never even knew that was a thing. Like, because apparently the restaurants that cook prime ribs, they only cook so many because, I don't know, it takes a long time. I don't know. Well, anyway, the short story of it is ate prime rib, very good. We went to Roadhouse, your favorite hangout spot before the bowling alley. And then I made a prime rib.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
For Christmas. Because I was talking to my mom, and it was just going to be really us three for Christmas out of like 28 people that are in our family. Somehow, magically, no one came. And I was like, so what are we doing for dinner? Like, what do you want me to help you with? And she's like, well, we can do some prime rib. And I'm like, oh, well, I just had that for the first time. Let's see what happens. And so it turned out really good. And it's really easy. I was like, wow, why is everyone talking big
I think
game?
it's the fact that it's a fancy cut of meat.
Is it?
I don't know. To me, like every time I've seen someone say, "Oh, I'm getting some prime rib," I'm like, "Wow, are they going to cook it before they put it on your plate?" Because it doesn't look cooked to
but
me. People.
I thought that was really amazing for me to have a new experience.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you had the occasion of having prime rib on Christmas
several times.
Yeah, twice. You've gone your whole life, and
I pretty much had prime rib every day.
And with a lady, it sounds like.
No, that was my buddy's wife. Why?
Oh, well, hey, maybe we're on the air, man. Careful, you're outing yourself.
Better watch yourself.
We got a little bit of show cleanup I want to talk about real quick from last week.
Oh, great.
I made a mistake. I went back and listened to the show as I do every now and again, and I just want to let the onesies know I was wrong that baby llamas, by the way, they don't weigh 280 pounds.
Yeah, I didn't want to challenge you on that because...
That's what an adult llama weighs. Baby llamas weigh anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds. So we definitely weigh less than a baby llama. And if you're confused as to what I'm talking about, you'll just have to go back and listen to last week's show where we talk about whether or not we feel we weigh more or less than certain baby animals. So my apologies. This is the same episode where they gave me a lot of stuff for missing the Paul McCartney story at the top of the run sheet, and all I had to do was look at the second story, and it would have found the link that we were looking for, but that's okay.
Well, you know, this is
show cleanup.
Another show cleanup.
Yeah.
Today's episode is a re-recording.
It is.
So
we're going to jump into that.
Okay. Well, I want to explain because I felt like a lot of the stories we're going to talk about today, I'm like, didn't we already talk about this?
No. There's a few maybe.
But we had a recording with the folks from Beer Mile.
Yes.
And I messed up, and I apologize to those guys. But we're going to give them a shout-out because they are doing a fundraiser for a Kickstarter for a movie they're making, and it's closing. The Kickstarter closes in like the middle of January or something.
That's correct.
That. So we still want to give them props and apologize to them.
Well, I guess we can move on to that. We'll do this a little out of order. I had that right before the break, but that's okay.
Oh, I thought we were going to watch the trailer. So
well, we are. So
I want to get rid of that because I don't have to worry about it.
All right. So a few weeks ago, I was looking at the Ocho on Reddit, which is basically a page that is dedicated to edge sports, weird, odd sports, kind of like roof ball and some of the weird things that we've talked about before. And I came across this thing called Beer Mile. And I was fascinated by it. And it's essentially exactly what you would think. It's people who start off a 1 mile race by chugging a beer around a track and then have to drink 3 more beers after each lap they make of the race. And it's fascinating. And what I really found interesting about it is there are phenomenal athletes that compete in this. I mean, guys that are running 4-minute miles, 5-minute miles, Olympic athletes. Yeah. And it's huge. So I thought, man, I want to reach out to these guys to see if we could have them on the show. And lo and behold,
we did.
But
then I screwed it up.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens.
The thing that I really hope we get them back because that interview was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had the guys from Beer Mile Media, Chris and Adam, and they were gracious enough to do a 1-hour interview with us and talk all about the Beer Mile.
And then I screwed it up.
Yeah, you did. You did. I'll let you fall on the sword this time.
Several times. Just keep pushing me on it. One thing I love about this is, especially with the show, I love talking to people about the articles we bring up, and especially making conversation during the holidays. And I was telling them about the Beer Mile. A lot of people, and my favorite consistent thing between all of them is when I told them the record holder ran it in like 4:20 something.
Correct.
No one believed me.
So yeah,
People were like, you can't run a mile
and drink four beers.
Drink 4 beers in 420 whatever seconds. I was like, well, this is what they have on the website, and we interviewed the guys, which I screwed up, but it was amazing showing them the website. I'm like, look, this is a real thing, and they're like, oh my gosh, these guys are actually oh my gosh, that guy's wearing sunglasses while running.
Yes, and Chris is actually the United States world record holder at 4 minutes and 37 seconds. And we did interview him as well. Asked him all kinds of crazy questions and different scenarios about, would they try doing this with Four Loko, and having a crazy Four Loko division.
Panera Lemonade.
Yeah, the Panera Lemonade. Like I said, needless to say, these guys were really awesome, and they were a great interview. Feel terrible that we didn't get to play their episode or their interview this episode, but hopefully we'll have them back on if they're gracious enough to do it again. We'll put some links to their Kickstarter for their fund, the Beer Mile film. But in the meantime, did you want to play the trailer for the onesie so they can see the trailer that has already been made? They've got a lot of footage that was shot from the National Championship in Chicago last year, made this trailer, and they're trying to raise funds for an entire feature-length film.
I'm going to start it right now, so take a listen. This is Beer Mile, the film, the official trailer, and we're going to put a link to the Kickstarter so you can donate and raise funds and help them produce this movie, because I just hope there's a lot of throwing up in it, and
there might be some
stuff like that. Here, take a listen.
Hope this goes well for all of us.
Yes, me too. Hey man, no pukes.
Yeah, let's go. No pukes.
Beer Mile is a collection of some of the best athletes around the world.
People who haven't been to the World Champs before, they're like, what the hell is this?
Shelby Houlihan will not be allowed to race at the U.S. Olympic Track and Field Trials. Houlihan faces a 4-year ban from the sport.
Honestly, running's just been up and down, and for me it's just an opportunity to kind of put myself back into the running community.
There's so much stimuli going through your mind and body, and there's tingly sensation, there's you being out of breath, there's people screaming at you while you're trying to chug and drown yourself in beer. Binding everything together is just absolutely insane.
Now the fun stuff starts.
Let us welcome the Beer Mile World Classic!
There's no point in the race where you feel good.
You were heavy on that last one, Norman.
Really hard for me to find anyone that's as crazy as me, and everybody here is as crazy as me.
Oh, man down. You've got to beat 428. Is he going to get it? Come on, Corey. And Shelby Houlihan are just completely screaming down that stretch right there.
The crowd was amazing, the energy and the atmosphere.
Why haven't I been doing this my whole life?
Yeah! It's going to be tight, but this could be a world record right here.
Yeah!
That's pretty cool, right?
Be a bar this way, I bet.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Chris Robertson and Adam Scherzen. I want to make sure I got their full names in there.
Beermile.com.
And Beer Mile, the film. And they do have different levels of contribution, I've noticed. You can donate any amount you want, but they have some
well, they also have a podcast.
They do have a podcast, yes. Well, and they've been doing that for about 3 years, I think. And the podcast is pretty good. I've listened to a couple of the episodes since I found them. But they've got some predetermined levels that come with different benefits, especially some of the higher dollar ones. You practically get all access behind the scenes film or behind the scenes to the film access to Beer Mile if you donate a certain amount. I have pledged a very interesting $69. That was one of the levels that offered, and I think with that we'll receive a poster for the movie, which I'm sure will be up in my office. So hopefully we will have these guys back on soon.
It's
cool. Okay, Dave. Yeah, don't beat yourself up about it too much.
I'm so pissed. It was a great interview. Those guys are so much fun, and that's one thing I kind of reflect on talking to them was the underlying feel to this is to have fun.
Right,
because
it's highly competitive, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very conflicting when you try to explain to someone, hey, have you heard of the Beer Mile?
Right.
And everyone's probably done this somewhere down the line or seen it in a college or in high school or something like that. Like, oh, can you chug a beer and run or whatever?
Right.
And these guys do the stats, they do all that stuff, but it sounds like they have fun, and it's not
no doubt
not totally serious.
Yep, and they do put it into different qualifying heats so that you're not competing with the world-class athletes. I think you basically submit a video of yourself, if I remember from the interview correctly, of basically your times, and then they put you in classifications based off of your time. So you and I would not be competing against, Adam or Chris, because those guys are fast.
Yeah.
I can't chug and I can't run, so I don't know.
Oh, no, it'd be hilarious to watch.
I don't know that I can drink 4 beers in 10 minutes without running. And I'm saying 10 minutes because I'm thinking maybe I could run a mile in 10 minutes. Certainly not while drinking 4 beers. It's crazy. But yeah, I highly encourage everybody to check out the trailer and certainly help support this film. And like I said, maybe we'll get them back on again soon.
Because I screwed up.
Yeah. So, hey, speaking of Christmas, I know we were talking about Christmas early. Did you get any interesting gifts for Christmas?
No, I didn't get anything.
All right.
Because I didn't give anything.
Well, it's that.
No, well, that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, we were talking on the phone, we were texting, and I was trying to convey this Christmas is so weird.
Right. It's a little different for you now.
Yeah, well, everyone kind of knows why it would be different, but this was like, what was weird was I have 5 brothers and sisters. I have 16 nieces and nephews, and I only saw 1 sister and 2 kids. And I was like, what are the odds of that? And
yeah, that is
for some reason,
it takes a lot of planning when you've got that many people, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that many people together at one time.
But they're doing it today. And I was really pissed off about that. I was like, we couldn't have planned this 3 weeks ago to do it on a Tuesday? Because I have to go in and do stuff at the radio station that I already committed to.
Right.
But, of course, they didn't make these plans till Christmas Eve. Because it's like they almost forgot. It's like, oh, we're not going to see each other for Christmas. Oh, fancy this. Why don't we do it on Tuesday? And I'm like, well, I'm already booked. But yeah, and it's so weird, and especially I guess as we get older, and I kind of sense this because I think everybody's kind of experienced when growing up, when Christmas, you always had that. I would call it like the glue, which was in our family it was my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd always go over there,
right,
for Christmas Eve. And then when my grandfather passed away, it was like everybody was like, oh, it's. No one cares about Muzzy. We don't have to go see her. Because I was the only one, I think, like the first 3 years after he passed away, I was the only one that took her to church.
Aww.
And I was like, and I kind of like talked to everybody. I was like, you guys don't want to see Muzzy on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, it is kind of interesting how those family traditions are fairly fragile, and it doesn't take very much change or the kids getting older to break that up. Nothing lasts forever. None of those traditions last forever. So I'm sorry that you're missing out on your family vacation, your family Christmas
I'm
event.
Fine with it. It was just kind of weird that no one ever talked about it, and it was like Christmas Eve they figured it out.
Yeah.
And they still haven't even figured out the time. Like to today, they still haven't figured out a time.
Sounds like you're not missing much, man.
No.
Would you be upset if you were to receive, I know you didn't get anything, but underwear? I know it's the stereotypical.
Actually, no, I take that back. I got underwear.
Excellent. And how did that make you feel when you received your gift of underwear?
Here's this has nothing against my mother. My mom got me underwear, right?
Love
probably
it.
because she knew I wasn't going to get anything. She's like, here's some underwear. I thought they were socks, and I was really excited. And then there was underwear. And
That's some odd-shaped underwear, buddy.
Well, I was like, oh, yeah, cool socks.
Did your mom go to Goop to get these underwear? I mean, why are they shaped like socks?
No, it was one of those tight packages.
Oh,
so
gotcha,
it felt like
gotcha.
socks. I was like, oh, yeah, cool, socks. And I opened it, and it was like, underwear? Okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten underwear in years and years. I don't know that I would necessarily mind if I did. I certainly wouldn't want to get a tie. You know, these are the stereotypical
You don't wear
gifts.
a tie, though.
But exactly. So I don't wear them
I wear
often,
underwear.
But I wear underwear. So to me, getting that as a gift is not that bad of a deal because I typically don't buy it for myself. And so I wanted to look up the stats of how many people receive underwear on Christmas, but I couldn't find that. However, I did find an article about how long people wear their underwear before putting on a clean pair, and I thought, close enough.
Oh, I like this Pandora's box we're about to open here.
Okay, excellent.
I got another question after this one. Okay, so what's the average?
Well, this was from Tommy John, the underwear maker, clothes maker, Tommy John. They did a survey a few years ago. 45% of Americans wear their underwear 2 days or longer. Ooh. I think it's probably safe to change them every single day. I'm sure there has been a time or two where I haven't, and I've gone more than 1 day, but certainly don't want to go that much longer. It says they surveyed 2,000 men and women about their underwear habits, and the shocking findings include 13% of those wear the same pair of underwear for a week or more. Men are more likely to wear underwear for more than a week, and 46% of those surveyed own a pair of underwear for a year or more, and 38% say they have no idea how long they've had the same underwear. Yeah, I think I probably fall into some of those categories. Like, I don't know how long I've had certain pairs.
Yeah.
I certainly know that I've had some for longer than a year. My God. I mean, if you get enough of them, you put them in rotation, they last a while. So I don't think those are too shocking. But the 13%, this is people who admitted it, have worn underwear for a week or more. No, sir. Cannot do that.
Well, I think what's odd about that kind of stuff, because it depends on your lifestyle and also what you're doing. Like
what your tolerance level is
like
for filth.
I've been in a situation where like we're hunting, and I'm just like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I barely care enough to brush my teeth.
Yeah, that's got to be just a couple of days.
But it's a couple of
right?
days.
Yeah, I could see that.
But in real life, no, it's got to be once a day. If not, it's a rare occasion.
So it says clean underwear can contain up to 10,000 living bacteria, and that's clean underwear. So try to think about how bad that same pair of underwear would be by the end of the week.
I also fart a lot too, so
you do look like the kind of guy that would do that. So for all of those who are disappointed in getting underwear or don't want to give underwear, I say onesies, embrace the underwear for Christmas because those things get nasty quick.
Well, let's go, like I said, Pandora's box on this stuff.
Sure.
So,
all right.
Well, it's interesting because those are questions you don't normally ask because they're private, right? And it's like, the couple weeks ago, I was talking to a buddy, and they mentioned something about how often they shower.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned like,
which I think we've talked about before.
We might have, because like he said that he doesn't shower every 3-4 days.
No.
And I was like, damn, dude, do you work? He's like, well, if I work out, I shower, of course. But like, he works from home.
Yeah.
And then I started piecing it all together. I was like, oh, okay, because there's stretches that you literally don't even leave the house.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't care if I'm working from home or not, sweating or not. I'm going to be taking a shower at least every other day, at a minimum for that scenario.
And
every day.
And then it gets interesting about like how often do you wash your hair?
Yeah, every time, man. Got to. It's the same routine for me. I don't typically get in and go, oh well, this time is the non-hair washing routine. I'm just going to do the same thing every time. Keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Head to toe, top to bottom.
Well, like
all the parts in between.
There's certainly a comfort thing with showers for me, like in the morning. It's like my cup of coffee. Because I've been in scenarios where like, like we're all showering at 9. I'm like, I don't want to, like, I'll just do it in the morning. It's like, well, we're leaving at 4 a.m., so you're going to get up at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and take a shower. Like, that's like how I wake up.
Yeah, it does help me wake up as well, I think.
And especially if it's cold, man.
Yeah, nice warm shower.
No, if it's cold. Like, if it's a cold shower.
Oh, a cold shower?
Yeah, dude.
No. Actually, I've heard there are, like, health benefits to taking cold showers.
There's health benefits for everything.
Getting the blood flowing, the heart rate up a little bit. Yeah, it's supposedly good for you, which makes sense if you think about the history of humans. We didn't have the ability to heat water on demand. Yeah. Probably when we would shower, they would be cold, and that's just how we did it. Of course, we probably didn't shower all that often back in, quote, the day.
But
so,
yeah,
Dick,
I was wearing that, and I brush my teeth pretty much every time after I eat.
Wow.
Try to.
Nice. I'm a twice-a-day guy. So during this time of year, people do go and travel to see their relatives. Very popular time of the year to do so. Do you consider, when you go and see family, a vacation?
Yeah. Anytime I'm in my car and I go somewhere that's not my house, that's a vacation.
See, I don't know that I
Not
necessarily
like
consider it a vacation. To me, it is definitely time away. Now, I guess it depends. If your family lives in like some exotic area and you have to get into an airplane and travel, let's say they live in Florida or something, or the Bahamas, to me, that's going to feel like you're on a vacation. But if I get in the car and just drive a couple hours to my parents' house, it doesn't feel like a vacation to me. It just feels like I'm visiting family. Now, granted, I'm not going to work. No, I don't think so.
I think it's terrible. I think if you're ever in a scenario that you're not at work, it should be considered a vacation.
Well, perhaps. But
I
I'm
also
I'm not
live a different
alone,
life
though.
than you. Like, I'm here all the time because I like to be here.
Well, true. But
like, I'm considering of putting a cot in the back, and then I was really upset when they were remodeling the place because they used to have a shower.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned.
Because if you go into the bathroom back here, you can see there was like an actual
Yeah,
full-on shower.
I was wondering why there was a drain in the middle of the room.
Yeah, and
It's like, man, this guy's
when
got terrible aim.
When I walked in and they removed it, I was like, "Hey, why'd you guys remove the shower?" And they're like, "Oh, they didn't want this in here." I'm like, "Well, why not? Like, that was awesome. That'd be the best."
Is the best.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not alone because in a poll of 2,000 U.S. holiday travelers, a third, 34%, don't count traveling for home during the holidays as a true, quote, vacation. And 71% of them said they need a separate vacation to unwind and relax afterwards. So I'm not alone. But like I said, I think it depends on your family.
Well, yeah, and it's also, I think a lot of people who think of the word vacation, they think of comfort.
Doing what you want to do.
And I think like a lot of people do not like their family.
Well, this is true too, and it's more of a chore, I guess, in some cases.
Because I always feel like it's a vacation if I don't have to do chores.
Right. Yeah, I suppose so. If you just sit around doing nothing.
Yeah. So if for example, on Christmas Eve, I did nothing. I played World of Warcraft like all day.
Vacation.
And that was a vacation to me. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be bothered.
I guess it also does depend on what your definition of vacation is.
And it was wonderful. I got to spend time with my brother over a headset and my other buddies who were not wanting to go to Christmas Eve. And then, it was a great time.
Awesome. Well, right before the break here, I thought it'd be interesting to go over a few statistics about Christmas and Christmas spending, since we now know what is considered a vacation and what's not, and how much Americans plan to spend every single year. I know, Dick, you spend zero, but the average American plans to spend $932 on holiday spending this year.
You know, it's funny. I did get someone a gift.
Oh, do tell.
Well... So I remember I told you I only get gifts if
they deserve it.
Well, not
right?
that they deserve it, but it's
your words, not mine.
It's a great it's like a good gift. So regardless of the holiday, I'm like, I'm gonna get you this gift. So I got my buddy. He has this 2008 Pontiac Solstice. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh, I do.
And it's a convertible.
Bitch and ride, man.
It's a convertible. And last time I was with him, he was describing this problem he was having with the automatic retractable roof thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it with him, and I was like, yeah, it's this plastic piece. There's a little tiny plastic piece. Like it's broken, so it won't fully, the tension can't hold itself, so it won't pull it down. So I ordered
the little spare part.
A little spare part.
Hey, that's thoughtful, and he deserves it because he needs to stay dry.
Yeah, and so I know he's gonna be like,
what the heck is this?
Well, what's great is
it's thoughtful.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my mindset when I look at that. I'm like, I already know what get this guy. He needs this. But what I love is I'm gonna go visit him this weekend, and I realize, they're gonna get a package that says Dick Schistler on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be kind of obvious. So I called them, and his wife picked up, and I was like, put me on speaker real quick. And she's like, okay. And then I go, hey, I'm getting a package sent to your house. It's my boner meds, so don't open it. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, don't open the boner meds. Don't open it. So hopefully that covers that track.
All clear. Total U.S. gift spending is expected to reach $178 billion. 60% of U.S. Christmas shoppers prefer to shop online. And this is the one that got me. 40% of all Christmas sales occur between December 15th and 24th, only a week before Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, man. That is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, because I got gifts for my significant others. But that's usually just because it also depends on the other person whose expectations are required.
True.
Because I've had significant others that always expected a gift, like regardless. It could be a card, it could be flowers, like they just needed something.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt that was kind of like a terrible trait in somebody. Because when you set those expectations, even though if it's a card, it's like you're obligating this other person to follow through on something so simple. And I don't like being put in a corner like that.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yeah, and I know that sounds very selfish of me, but to me, it sounds selfish of them to expect something from me.
Oh, the tangled web you weave, sir. All right, this is a good time to take a break.
Did you ever get in trouble for doing that?
I don't think so.
I got in trouble all the time for that.
I don't think so.
And especially
off the top of my head.
Well, especially like you ever given something to somebody and then like for their birthday you didn't give them anything and they're like, oh, you didn't get me anything for your birthday, and I'm like, you don't remember that $400 bracelet I bought you in July? Yeah, but that's not for my birthday.
Unfortunately, it does not count. It doesn't work that
that's
way, dude.
I've been in several scenarios like that.
I know that's the way you might think it works, but it doesn't work.
And
that way.
no, I think it's unfair if I literally go, hey, this is your early birthday gift. Okay?
Mm-hmm. And then on the birthday, where's my gift?
Where's my gift?
Don't you remember the word early from a few weeks ago or months ago?
Well, see, now what I've learned is, and this is acceptable for everyone, I have to accept it for everyone. Like, everyone forgets stuff. I totally get it. And so what I'm going to start doing...
Zoom audio. It happens.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to talk about how much I screwed that up, because that's regretful screw up. That's one of the few regrets in my life, is screwing up that interview with beermile.com. But I'm just going to get a card, and it's going to be blank. It's not going to say happy birthday. It's not going to say anything. It says, and you open it, it says, already got you a gift. Remember the bracelet? Smiley face. I think that's what I'm going to do from now on for all the people who I know are going to be like,
You are such a lovely soul.
And just so they know, I care probably more than you know, but not in the way you want me to.
All right, man, that's a good place to take a break.
I'm already on. I'm on the search for a calendar for you now.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I seriously spent some time trying to find. I was what kind of calendar would Andrew like? But I don't want to make it too nasty.
Yes, please don't.
So
please don't.
Yeah.
All right,
it's got to be a calendar though, because my calendar's great, and every time I see the dog poop. You know what's funny? My dog was pooping the other day, and I was like, man, I wish she could be on the calendar. I
mean, you just take pictures of her dookie, if you want, and put it up on your wall. All right, man, when we come back, good time to take a break. We're way past time. What is the oddest thing that you have ever smuggled in your pants? Audience One Show when we come back. Audience of One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Listen to the brain droppings of local hosts, me, Andrew Belshner, along with the jewel of Montgomery County radio, Dick Schisler. Topical musings, news stories, oddities, or just weird conversations that we normally have with ourselves, all mixed together with the occasional guest. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
All right, welcome back to Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio's radio station.
More than one.
Don't forget we're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, worldwide at irlonestar.com. We also do podcasts, YouTube. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio, our Audience of One show, or visit the show page at irlonestar.com/AOO. And also, we are a nonprofit radio station, so if you feel the need to contribute,
I feel the need.
Just visit us online and donate irlonestar.com. You know, we were in the paper.
Were we now?
Yeah. They did an article about the 12 local nonprofits to support for Christmas, I guess.
Look at that.
And we were on other.
All right, we made the other list.
The other list.
So, yeah, in case these top 12 don't work out for you, here's one other to consider.
Yeah, it was really odd.
It's like an honorable mention or participant award. Look at us go.
But yeah, so that was the first fun segment.
Was this like a local rag?
It was the Courier.
Okay, look at that. Man, we're so big time now.
Well, yeah. I've been big the whole time.
Yeah, righty. So I know that you are still eagerly awaiting the arrival of your pickup truck.
Yeah, if it ever comes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it'll be here eventually someday. Well, this article caught my eye, and it was really funny. But apparently Toyota has released a pickup truck for only $13,000. And I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting because, as you're well aware, the cost of vehicles has skyrocketed, and you cannot really get a pickup truck of any kind for under $40,000 or $35,000, as you are seeing. But there is one catch. First of all, this truck is only available in Thailand, but it is also only about 70% built. And the rest of the 30% you have to put together yourself. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I mean, if that's what keeps the price down, why not? But then it got me thinking, how far could you take this concept? Could you do 50%? Or could you, in fact, do a complete DIY build-your-own vehicle? So let's say like Ford, or in Toyota in this case, has a showroom that you walk through and you pick out a la carte all the things that you want on your vehicle. You know, some things might come pre-assembled, but then they just box it up and give it to you, and it's up to you to put that sucker together. And I know they do like kit cars, right? I've heard of that, but that's mostly like just the body and the frame, and you have to do everything else on your own. I'm thinking, what if a major car manufacturer decided to do this, and would it work? And would it drastically lower the price of vehicles?
That was, you've heard of Lotus, right?
Yeah.
That's how they...
The Esprit is like their biggest model.
I want to say that's how they started.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
because you can buy... I remember you could buy like a base model Lotus that literally only came with the driver's seat.
Okay.
That's all it came with. It didn't have carpet. It didn't have... It was basically all metal, and it came with the engine. And
I guess you could drive it that way.
It didn't have a radio, didn't have AC, didn't have windshield. Like, it was all...
Interesting.
It was like basically a race car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of race cars are that way for weight.
Yeah, and so you could do whatever you want with it.
Right.
And I don't even think it was street legal when you bought it. Like, you had to do other
modifications.
You had to do some certain stuff, like seatbelts.
Well, yeah, see, that brings up another interesting point, because would you... after building said car, would it be safe, right? Because I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an engineer, right? I did model cars as a kid, but those things never turned out the exact way they looked on the box. You know, that was pretty bad. So if I were to do one of these DIY cars, would it even be safe? You know, would it pass inspection? I guess that would be the key. You'd have to build it and then take it over to some place to get it inspected, I suppose.
Yeah, but this truck is also probably a work truck, meaning...
But I'm saying expand the concept to anything, like everyday drivers.
No, everyone's an idiot.
All right, well, but it keeps the
I mean,
price down.
don't you already
low.
kind of have... I think what's crazy to me is there's certain elements now in today's car world, like this is from me doing research, is there isn't... I don't even think there is a base model anymore.
I mean, all cars technically have
like, for example,
a low end, which is called the base, right?
Well, it depends on the manufacturer. Because I think, like, for example, the Ford, I think all the trucks I looked at all came with automatic, like, transmission.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even go to manual.
Yeah, but that's still considered the base model. There's hardly any manual cars being made at all.
No, I meant
anymore.
like what in people's mind, like you don't have the roll up window option anymore.
No.
Like now, what a base model is, it doesn't have cruise control. That's what's considered a base model. Like it doesn't have a.
It's all relative.
It doesn't have a backup camera.
Right, right. Actually, I think that's now required by law. But
no, yeah, because I learned a lot like ordering my truck. Because I was always curious, especially like Ford. Ford has like if you look at the Broncos, there's like 10 trim packages. I'm like, why are there 10?
Yeah.
Like, what on earth? What's the difference between them all? Besides your like
paint colors, paint schemes, color schemes, mostly.
Well, I think for the Bronco itself, I think it's the transmission and
yeah,
the
with the Bronco, different off-road packages probably.
Yeah, and it just kind of amazed me, especially going like when you're trying to buy a car, you're like, it's kind of like that that Apple model. Have you heard about their sales model where they like? It's like, oh, you want to buy this iPad, but we're going to sell it at this price, right? And then it's like, but if you get this one that has more memory, it costs just enough, a little bit more. But right when you hit that point, you're like, why don't I just get the nicest one? I'm already spending an extra $150. If I spend an extra $100, I'll get the nicest one. And then when you go up to that one, it's like, well, if I'm already spending this much money, might as well buy an AirPad or iPad Air or whatever, you know. And it's like, okay, that's how they get people. They scale them up.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I know some people who just want a manual transmission.
See, I think there's a market for this. It may not be huge, but I think for the cost-conscious automobile purchaser, they might be interested in doing a DIY or paying their buddy, you know, $100 to put it together for
them. Why do
them.
you consider this? Why do car manufacturers make totally different car models in other countries where we can easily use those same models over here?
I ran across this recently as I was looking at vehicles the other day. I said, oh, man, I really like this particular kind of smaller SUV, but it was a little higher off the ground. Only available, I believe, in Thailand. Oh, what the heck? I would drive one of those.
Yeah.
But you're right. I guess they do different studies on markets and what the
even like American
customer wants.
Well, even American manufacturers have different cars overseas.
Oh yeah, yes.
So
this was a Ford. This was a Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely they do because they've done market research, I guess, and they know exactly what we're looking for.
It's stupid.
Yeah, especially when you're like, man, I really want this. Well, this is called the Toyota Helix Champ. More like the Helix Chump, Just kidding. That was dumb. Anyways, it's basically one of these plug-and-play vehicles that allows you to build different size beds on the back. Again, 70% finished, 30% being completed by the customer. I like this idea. They released all this back in October at the Japan Mobility Show with a few concepts, including an ambulance, a food truck, a vending machine, and other creative uses. See,
Here, I'm
this is
gonna pull it up.
yeah, this is what you weren't thinking about is, especially for people who are tight on a budget, like maybe you do have a food truck, you can convert one of these rather
Yeah,
easily.
I want to tell the audience, I'm showing this on YouTube and Facebook. I don't think the first car is 13,000.
That's the base, right? That's where it starts.
I don't think this is it.
By the time
I literally don't think it has a truck bed. I think it's just the cab.
And by the time you get all the add-ons, yeah, look at that sucker. It looks like that's a cool little food truck. But by the time you get all the add-ons,
see, that might
it's
be
much more than 13,000.
That might be 13,000 right there.
Gotcha. Okay, you're probably right.
So,
but still, I like this idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't really care about what you're driving around in,
I mean, it doesn't even look that bad. It's not a bad-looking vehicle, I suppose, to a degree. Looks like a Toyota inside.
a manual transmission.
There you go, just what you want. So, Dick, last week I mentioned on, I guess, the show that will now not air. That's fine. About
because I screwed up
an astronaut who lost a tomato at the space station.
Yeah.
And I decided to look it up because I was like, wait, the sound, I remember hearing it, but I wanted more information. Well, this is Frank Rubio, and he recently made history for breaking the record of the longest space flight for a U.S. astronaut, spending 371 days in space. But the second he returned, all anyone wanted to know about was the missing tomato. So apparently he actually cultivated some fruit in space, and this was supposedly the first tomato that had been grown in space, and he had put some Velcro on it and put it on the desk. And when he went back the next morning,
it was gone.
It was gone. And apparently he said he spent anywhere between 8 and 20 hours of his own time searching for the lost fruit. Pretty funny, man. Pretty funny. But it got me thinking about it. It's funny because it's a tomato. But what would happen if it's something like the toilet paper?
Do they have toilet paper in space?
I mean, you're still making a mess.
No, I think they have something else. I forget what it was.
Well, whatever it is, it's got to be Velcroed down, and if you lose it, you're in trouble.
I definitely looked it up. I forgot what it was. Like, they have a suit or something they do all that business
suit?
in. Yeah, because they have to clean it, and they have to recycle the water, and like I don't know if they discharge anything into space. I think they might do
that'd be awesome. Just like
I'm pretty
shoot the dookie out into outer space.
I think they do.
Wow. I mean, what could go wrong? Unless it forms into like some solid comet and comes back in, crashing down into Earth. That could be a problem. And if I talked about this on next show, I apologize, onesies. I think I mentioned it on the show that isn't being aired, but maybe since we recorded out of order, I talk about it. If I did, I apologize.
Oh, look, they just sit on a toilet seat like they do on Earth.
Yeah, but what? It's got to have like some sort of suction or vacuum that's like pulling the mess down, right? It's not just a normal one, because wouldn't it just float up next to you? I would believe.
Okay, so
I believe so.
What I'm reading, and this is correct.
We forget about it. It's not just people floating around in space. It's everything.
Well, no, they don't discharge it. They basically have watertight, compacted bags that are made, like when they use the restroom, this compression system puts it into a bag, and then they bring it home to study.
Wait, they study
their waste. And then the rest of it...
What are they thinking, that weightlessness in space has some sort of effect on their waste? I suppose it could. We've already talked about cultivating
But there's
bugs.
a side note. It says majority of it is loaded into a cargo ship that burns up on re-entry.
Oh, so they're only studying some of it.
Yeah, they don't bring like 2 tons of poop back.
I was going to say, isn't it all the same? You just need one sample,
But
right?
what's funny about that cargo ship, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, I wonder what other stuff they put on that. It's like, we don't want anyone to know any secrets.
Oh, they just burn it up.
And they just put it on something that burns in the atmosphere. That would be the coolest flex right there.
That would be kind of cool. I'm sure that happens. Or what if you accidentally put something on that incinerator which you wanted to bring home?
Yeah.
Like, dang it was a little green man. I met him. He was great.
It's a picture of my daughter.
I accidentally
She's
fried
dead.
I've
been stuck in space
for 300 and some odd days. Yeah, pretty interesting. So, word to the wise, when you go up to space with Elon, make sure you take plenty of Velcro.
This reminds me of this thought I had the other day.
Okay, tell me about. And now thoughts the other day with Dick.
So I was watching Appaloosa, and it's a Western movie, and I was thinking about how often people back in those times, like in the 1800s, they saw family. Because one of the lines in the movie he talked about
wasn't a vacation though.
Well, I mean they're worried about other stuff during that time. But what it got me thinking was, okay, so in that time period, it was normal to have family, but not really, because like you would, especially males, would go off and just go on do their own thing, like they'd be
or marry their cousin
or whatever.
They don't care.
But so they haven't because this guy said he's been with his buddy for 20 years and hasn't really seen his family. And I was thinking to myself, I bet we're gonna revisit that idea is when we go to space, because you're gonna have the brother or the dad.
It's the
or
final
the mom.
It's the final frontier.
And yeah, so like if I'm like going to Mars because I'm some really cool guy or girl, like you're never gonna see them like every 8 years maybe.
Yeah, because it's not like it's very affordable to go back and forth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
I mean, heck, you got relatives a couple hours away, you don't see them, much
Yeah.
less in outer space. It's a good thought, Dick.
I
You're
liked
right.
it. I was like, we're gonna be revisit that.
You think your
lifestyle.
Christmas is all screwed up now?
Yeah.
Just wait till you're living in outer space.
Side note,
Can't make it.
Side note,
I'm in Jupiter
Christmas
today.
Day. I know that sounded really strange. We all live in Houston area.
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know. So it's
Okay.
not like, oh, someone lives in Massachusetts or something. It's like, no,
So
we all live in
salty.
Houston. Oh, yeah.
So salty about this, man. I did also mention this last week again. I don't know if these stories have been brought to air or not. I'm so confused. But, Dick, what is the weirdest thing that you have ever tried to smuggle in your pants? And I know the list has got to be a mile long.
I would say liquor, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's
on
like-
what occasion was this? Just going to the movies? You're like, I got to have some booze during this 2.5
No,
hour movie.
I think we went to the Woodlands Pavilion.
Oh, dude, that's dangerous. 'Cause you got to go through security anytime you go to an event, and you bringing in booze, they're liable to cuff and
Yeah,
stuff
but
you
if you
right
put
there.
if you put a little bag in between your man parts and their thigh, they're not really going to search that.
I guess not, unless they're doing a pat down on you.
No.
You're going to make the news. That Cron article you referenced is going to have a whole nother story about
I
us.
think that's about it.
Local radio host sneaks bag of whiskey into the Pentatonic show at the Woodlands.
Yeah, I don't think anything else I really put in my pants.
No animals?
Someone, I think you told me
Yeah,
about
man,
this.
this is crazy. So this is a silly written article, and I'm not going to do that. But apparently a man, again in Taiwan, because we are the premier local source for Taiwanese news and Thailand, a man was arrested in the airport because he tried to smuggle 4, small animals, which turned out to be, what were they? Otters. There it is. They didn't look like otters in that first picture. And I thought, wait, that's not an otter. It looks like a squirrel or something. 4 otters in his pants. My God. And we've had some stories recently about otters being quite vicious, especially if they're provoked or if you feel like you're getting close to their nest. I think you probably need to show this picture because it is wild. They've pulled this man's underwear forward, and you can see 4, well, you can clearly see 3 otters there in his pants. Now, the story does not go into the reasons as to why he needed these otters, but how the heck does this guy think he's going to sneak into the airport with 4 otters in his britches, man?
One of my buddy's favorite shows is those Border Patrol shows.
Yeah.
You ever seen these shows? They're terrible.
It's awesome.
They're terrible shows. It's on like National Geographic, and one of them is about airports around the world. So, what people are smuggling through the airport.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one episode particularly. This guy almost got away with it. Basically,
More for those meddling kids.
Well, they checked his luggage, didn't find any drugs, checked everything, his jacket, everything.
Right.
And then someone had and I don't know if it's for the TV show because this is supposed to be real, reality show, so it's supposed to be real. And at the last second, they ran something on his ID or something, and they go, "Oh, this guy, we actually have to do a search, like a strip search." So this guy's probably thinking, "I'm getting away with it." They checked everything. And it gets down to his underwear, and you just see this package, and it's not his penis.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say more specific there.
Yeah. And the guy's like, everyone in the room is like, "Whoa," and it looks like it, and they're like, "That's not yours. There's no way it's that big." I'm not kidding. This is a real thing. And then of course, they undo the flip, and it's just a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
But it was funny. I was like,
is that a bag of cocaine in your pocket? You have
yeah,
to see
that's what
me?
I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and he's European, so of course he has like a Speedo kind of thing
course.
on. And I was sitting
Don't
there.
we all?
I was like, that guy woke up that day and was like, I got to get this cocaine to Italy. I'm just gonna put this in my pants for the whole plane ride.
That's right. What could go wrong?
And yeah, I don't really know any scenario I needed to smuggle anything. That's the only thing I think of.
Yeah, in this guy's case, it says that they speculate he was planning on selling the animals to the booming underground animal trade. There you go. I guess otters are in high demand. They do look like cute little creatures. I gotta give you that. But are otters well behaved? I wouldn't think you would want to put those in your pants. They'd be moving around a lot.
Would you be friends with a guy who has an otter?
Oh, that's a really good
Like
question.
I had a friend that had a ferret, and I always thought that was really weird.
Yeah, ferrets are strange little animals. They're not great pets.
That's what it was. Just kind of like.
Yeah, that would be weird, especially if you put it on like the dating scene. You meet a girl and you really like her. You're like, this is actually working out. She's nice. She's cool with my
has a
nosebleeds.
ferret.
Yeah, and you get home and she's got like 4 otters and a ferret. Like, what are you doing with that? That might be. If it's not a red flag, it's definitely a caution flag.
See, I don't call them red flags anymore. I've decided to call them expiration dates.
Yes,
because I'm always trying to stay positive because I'm not going to judge somebody.
Yes,
but if you have otters as pets, I'd be like, there's an expiration date to this relationship,
and it just moved up.
And
a couple of months.
Let me check my calendar. Let's see how much fun we can have in 2 weeks. And that's what. That's where it's gonna go.
That's not a bad idea. Well,
Yeah,
this article says
no more red flags. We don't judge each other. We just call them expiration dates.
Yeah, you just make the time you spend with that person significantly shorter, right? Well, this says it gives prairie dogging a whole new meaning. Oh, I told you this article was written so bad.
I would definitely be interested in seeing how long it those would be getting involved in our relationship.
Say that again?
Like these otters, like when they start getting involved. Because there's like a secret. There's something to somebody if they have otters.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So it's like as you're dating this woman, you're like, I'm waiting for her to like say, hey, these otters.
Is it okay if they sleep in the bed with us?
Or something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm
And
sorry,
you're just
what?
kind of like, I'm waiting.
I thought it stayed in its kennel. What are you
That would
talking
be my
about?
expiration date. I was like, I just want to find out.
And the expiration date is today.
No.
Actually, been about 20 minutes.
You're
You're right.
thinking the wrong idea. I want to see what it is. So I'm like, I'm curious. Like, what's going on with these otters? So I would only date her just to see what she does with the otters.
Yeah. What if she has them trained to do tricks like normal stuff, not like kinky stuff? Because I know that's where you're going.
No, I don't care about the king. I just
Nasty
meant
guy.
I meant in general. Like that. If a person has an otter, I'd be like, what's this guy up to? Like, what's going on here?
It is, again, a bit strange.
I mean, yeah, it'd be awesome.
It would be.
I would hate it, but it would be awesome.
So what do you think about, staying on this relationship thing, about couples sleeping in separate bedrooms? Because Cameron Diaz has come out in a recent interview she did, saying that couples sleeping in separate bedrooms should be, quote, normalized. And I'm
again, this goes
to me,
down.
All right,
like,
go ahead.
Remember I was talking about significant others, and they expect they have this logic of expecting something on their birthday no matter what. Like if they don't get anything, temper tantrum comes around. I had a conversation about this because I snore. I have a deviated septum. I probably have sleep apnea, probably, and I snore, and I can't control it. And so there was a good period where she's like, kept waking me up. I'm like, here's the deal. I'm just gonna go sleep in the other bedroom.
Yep.
And that was almost like I cheated on her in her mind. And I was like, what? And it started this whole World War III kind of thing. And I was like, but you can sleep.
And I can
I can sleep.
Right. Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because at first I think, no, couples should, sleep in the same room. But at the same time, if there is an incident such as snoring, or maybe your partner has chronic flatulence, whatever it may be.
I probably have that too.
Right. Whatever it may be, then sleeping in separate rooms, go for it, man. If that's the way it works.
See, I don't change my underwear once a day because it's like the normal thing. Like I have to change my underwear once a day.
It's not just the bacteria. But I can understand how this person that shall not be named was kind of offended by it. I could see that, right? But that just tells you how much she was willing to stay with you overnight. If she could endure
to me, it was a little
your
psychotic.
horrible flatulent issue.
It was a little psychotic.
Okay, I think it's love, Dick. I think it's love. I'm going to take the opposite side.
Really?
Here.
You really believe?
If she's willing to stay in a room while you've got that sound bellowing out of you every night.
That's what I'm saying. She's waking me up.
Oh, telling you, to
Telling
stop.
me, hey, stop.
But still willing to do that though every night rather than.
Do you
just
think
putting
I
you
want to be woken up every hour and a half and be like, hey, like here's the
exactly?
deal. If you need to sleep,
She's inconveniencing herself too, though, and still remaining
again
in
in
the
psychotic
bedroom.
behavior.
It's love. It's love.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is
kind
kinda
of
crazy.
That's crazy town.
No, I think whatever works out for
And-
each couple. Honestly, like if that's the way you want it to work and the couple's fine with it, that's fine. She says, you go sleep in your room, I'll go sleep in mine, and then we will have a common room that we come together in.
Oh,
you know,
now you have to buy a house with 3 rooms.
Well, yeah. She is an actress with probably a larger budget than most of us with this problem would have.
This is interesting concepts with, especially with couples and people who've been married forever. Like, so I have a thing for me. I like to sleep on the right side of the bed.
Okay, right meaning correct or physically right. Now, is it the right
Physically
side
right.
when you're looking at it, or is it the
When
right
you're
side when you're laying in
When
it?
you're laying down, if I move my arm to the right, there's my watch, there's my
Okay, all
phone
right.
and everything.
Because that could be considered the left side of the bed.
Oh, I know. Depends on how you look at it. Like I like sleeping on the right side of the bed.
That's where you're at.
And I'll never forget another one of these crazy town conversations was she wanted to sleep on the right side. And I was like, do you like sleeping on the right side? No, I don't really care. I like sleeping on the right side. So can I sleep on the right side? Well, I want to. And I'm like, what? Like,
relationship that was destined for glory.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Right
And,
from the start.
But yeah, it was.
I guess I don't care. It's whatever I get used to, but honestly, I don't care.
Well, see, you don't care, and I get it.
Yeah,
and
I'm like,
it was
whatever.
just a preference for me because I like sleeping on my right side.
Yeah.
So I like sleeping.
I just
over
like
there.
a bed that's big enough. Like I can't. I gotta have a king size bed so I can spread out and actually sleep. If I'm in like a little tiny twin size, or not twin, but like a was it queen or double? That ain't big enough for 2 people. Sorry. So this okay. So to go further with this, Cameron Diaz does actually say different houses. To me, I would literally have my own house and you have yours. We have a family
But that
house
makes total
in the
sense.
middle. I will go sleep in my room and you go sleep in yours. Wow.
Well, to me,
yeah,
that
I guess
makes
if you can have
sense.
separate houses. Well,
Well, I mean,
why not?
it's like I think it's also different schedules. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's very rare
and if
today
you're-
to have a partner that is on literally the same schedule as you.
Yeah, and especially if you're a celebrity, right? And you're traveling.
Not a celebrity,
this and
it's
that.
anything.
Well, it's
like-
probably even more so if you're a celebrity, though. I
Yeah.
would think. Yeah, because it's just your schedule is not normal. You're not working a 9-to-5 job like the rest of us are.
And again, I think it's also something where she tries to argue it being normalized.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares? Just do your own thing. Why do you have to normalize it?
And I think it's like I said, some people have a stigma with it where like if you're not in the same bed, you're not a couple.
Right? No, you're right. Maybe
And
you're right. So she's on a mission.
And it's like, and to me, that's terrible to think that if we don't do this, we're not a couple. Like any scenario.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I think it's silly.
Whatever
to put,
works for the couple, I think, to be honest
yeah.
with you.
And if someone's making those kind of demands, the expiration date has been set. Right?
This is true. This is true.
I kind of want to call your wife right now and be like, hey,
No, let's
Andrew's,
not.
Andrew's thinking of getting a separate bedroom just in case one of y'all wants to stay up late and doesn't want to disturb anybody.
Oh, let's not. All right, man. Do you want to try this? I know we were having issues with the internet earlier.
Here's a funny story for you.
Oh, great. I'm trying to
So
move on. Desperately trying to move on.
I was with this girl one time, and we hook up, and there was a moment where like I get up early, and I didn't want to keep her. I didn't want to wake her up, so I woke up early and went downstairs, and we just kind of did stuff, and then I was on the couch.
Rummage through her cabinets. Go
No.
ahead. Mhm. Medicine cabinet.
And she thought I left, like at midnight, like when we fell asleep in the bed, and I was just like, oh no, I just didn't want to disturb you, and I didn't want to like just sit there in the bed on my phone.
How disappointed was she when she woke up, went downstairs, and found you still there? Dang it!
I know, that's what I said. I was like, you just thought I was going to leave. She's like, no, I was just so worried you just like just left. I'm like, no, I just didn't want to be in your bed while I'm on my phone and moving around and doing stuff. Like, I didn't want to like work in your bed while you're asleep. So, it's pretty great.
Oh, man. All right. Do we want to try this? We tried during the break, and the internet and the website BuzzFeed was not that great, but I did want to at least bring this up. So BuzzFeed, I don't know if they actually did this or they had somebody else submit it to them, but did an AI-generated version of what each state's tribute would look like. And when we say tribute, we mean like the Hunger Games tribute. We're not going to go into all of that. If you don't know what it means, then this story means nothing to you. Anyways, but it's pretty interesting. Scrolling through all 50 of these is going to be difficult, but I think maybe we'll put the link in the show rundown or something like that, so people once these can go check it out. But I found it fairly interesting as I'm scrolling through each one of these states and how AI interprets people from these states, and along with if they were in the movie Hunger Games. Were you able to bring it up, Dick?
I'm trying to find
Maybe
different-
like
a different
a
web
different
browser.
website. Yeah, and I will say that AI was not as kind to some states as they were to others. Are you showing the pictures now?
Yeah, I got Alabama.
Yeah, if you scroll down to Colorado, I have to admit Colorado is one of the ones I thought. You just passed it. Colorado was pretty darn cool looking because they do look like they're ready to I don't know, beat your ass, steal your girlfriend, and then go hit the ski slopes right after. It's kind of cool looking, I think.
Well, what's funny about this is I'm not a Hunger Games person, so when I was looking at this, I forgot that the costumes in that movie are ridiculous.
Yes.
So, because at first I was like, man, some of these are just out of control.
Yeah, if you scroll down to Florida,
Yeah,
they definitely look like they're about to go on a safari, but a safari in Barbie because they're all in pink. Ken does not look like, or I don't know, Ken, whatever. The male there does not look like he's going to pose too much of a threat.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
Well, I mean, some are really cool because
Yeah.
you could see.
Well, there's Idaho. Now there are a few that got screwed though. So, and I think Idaho is one of them because in this particular picture,
there's potatoes.
They put a big sack of potatoes on this woman's head, and it's basically, I guess, whatever state, whatever crop in your state happens to be the most prevalent, they just threw it on your head. I think they did that to Idaho as well. Or I'm not sorry,
Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah, where they just put a bunch of corn stalks on their head.
I mean,
so wrong.
Yeah,
so wrong.
I mean, I like it.
It's cool, but of course, most everyone is probably going to be interested in Texas. And of course, it's in alphabetical order, so it's kind of a ways down there. But I don't know what to think about Texas, to be honest with you.
I mean, some of them looks like they have armor on, and some of them look like they're dictators. Like Missouri is kind of odd to me. I wish I knew somebody from Missouri that can explain why AI would do something like this.
You know, they haven't missed a meal in Missouri. Let's put it that way. They do look very regal in those
What does that have to do with anything? Have you not seen Hunger Games? They they just pick random people.
Right.
It isn't like they go, hey, give us your biggest and strongest.
Right. Yeah, Tennessee looks like Space Cowboys, which pretty cool. I have to admit, they got the better end of the stick there.
New Jersey looks hilarious because I'm pretty sure is it Suki?
Yes, you're right. What is that? That looks like
Is it
the New
Suki?
Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
Jersey Shore.
Is it Suki?
No,
is
what
that
is
her
her
name?
name?
I have no idea. Who
That,
cares?
she does look like the lady from Jersey Shore.
I mean, some of these are pretty tight.
Yeah, New York, obviously in a big downtown area. But I wanted to look at Texas because I think. Are you not
I'm
quite there
just
yet?
gonna watch. I'm gonna look at them.
To me, Texas
that
looks
one right
like
there
it's
is
where
great.
Texas looks like it's where cavalry sort of meets Shakespearean theater.
Well, one thing I don't know if this is a Hunger Games thing, and I don't know anything about fashion, but one thing I know, especially about the AI, is if you look at a lot of these deals, it looks like what the women are wearing is what the men should be wearing, and what the men are wearing should
yeah.
be what the women are wearing.
Well, it's just AI it's going off of.
But since it's Hunger Games, I imagine that's like, oh, this is the future.
Right.
We wear
anything goes in that movie.
Anything goes.
Right. I don't know. What do you think of Texas there? Do you think that's fairly accurate?
I love how big the hat is.
Yeah, he's got, of course, has to have a
that
big
mustache game is strong.
He does have a strong mustache game.
I like what she's wearing. I'd talk to her if I saw her.
I bet you would.
And
not if you're wearing that blouse he's got on.
I think I would definitely talk to her if I was wearing that blouse.
If you're gonna wear that blouse, you're the type of guy that would go talk to her. I think.
I live my life in hard mode.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think of this?
I don't know anything says hard about that get-up.
No, it's the whole joke. It's supposed to be hard to talk to somebody while you're wearing that ridiculous outfit.
Yes, now that is true.
And that hat.
That is true.
That hat is ginormous.
Yeah, it's overly large.
And when I love,
maybe he's compensating for something, I don't know.
And I love the American flag in the background.
Of course, gotta have that. It's Texas, America.
It's not the Texas flag.
No, it's not. Actually, that is kind of strange.
Yeah,
I
like it.
Actually, it's not even the United States flag. It just has stars, but no stripes.
Yeah.
I just now noticed that too. Well, I think the one that takes the cake for me, and I think we're wronged the most, is... Well, hold on. Yeah. Scroll back up to Vermont. Vermont does look like they may have just committed some small misdemeanors on the way before they took this picture. They look pretty tough. I don't know what's in that bottle.
Some of them are really. I'm telling you, some of them are really creative.
Yes, they are. They are really creative. But Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin got the shortest end of the stick here because AI basically just put blocks of cheese all over these people, and that's it.
Well,
I don't.
It does look pretty great.
But a lot of these look, tough or intimidating or attractive. One of the combination of all three of those, there is nothing redeeming about Wisconsin's picture here at all.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the cheese is tasty, no doubt, but I don't know why.
That's great.
So I guess AI just thinks there's people running around eating cheese in Wisconsin. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. How are we doing on time, buddy? I don't think I wrote down the time, so I have no idea. We doing good?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a quick hit here at the end of the show, but I honestly don't know if it's the end of the show. I believe it is. So have you ever wondered where the high five came from?
I want to say, isn't it like an ongoing joke that a baseball player did it?
Yeah, look at you. So it kind of has some local ties, and there's all kinds of different ideas of where just slapping hands together is some sort of gesture came from, but the actual high five is widely known to have come from a baseball game in 1977 between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Houston Astros. It was the last game of the season, and Dodgers outfielder Dusty Baker, perhaps you've heard of him, had hit a home run, and it was his 30th of the season. The accomplishment made the Dodgers the first team in the Major League history to have 4 players with 30 homers. Well, Baker's rookie teammate, Glenn Burke, was waiting for him on deck, and as Baker crossed home plate, Burke triumphantly lifted his hands into the air. The way the legend goes, Glenn put his arm high into the air, and Dusty did not know what to do, so he just slapped it. And that is known as perhaps the very first high five. I find that hard to believe because
I believe it.
1977, not that long ago, seems like somebody would have done this to somebody else long before then. But I found that to be quite interesting, if indeed that is true.
No, because there wasn't a lot of high-fiving in Rocky, and you think that movie would have a lot of high-fiving.
No, they're beating the crap out of each other. Why would they high-five?
I don't know. I just feel like high-fiving would be in Rocky if it existed.
After you land a huge uppercut, you're like, dude, that was awesome. High five. I don't think it works.
Yeah, is that why Dusty Baker wears those gloves?
Yeah, what's weird about it, though, is he only wears them sometimes. It's not consistent. Like, some games he'll have them on, and sometimes he won't.
It must be the...
I don't get it.
I know why he wears them.
Maybe it's just in whatever town he's in. Why does he wear them? I actually don't even know.
Because his fingers don't have any grip when he's doing his papers.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he's a stat guy. If you watch him...
so he's constantly
going through papers
All right.
and doing stuff. So, but
I have seen him without.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it was kind of funny. I thought he always had like a skin condition where...
Yeah.
Like he couldn't...
I thought it was a weird COVID leftover thing. I don't know. I wasn't sure.
But whatever.
Anyways. Well, awesome, man. That is all we have time for this week. Onesies.
Before we go, I do want to say sorry to the BeerMile.com folks.
Beer Mile Media. Yeah.
Check them out. They're linked to the Kickstarters below. And then, we hope to get them on because I have to apologize and grovel. Or is it grovel? Is that the correct way to say that?
I don't know, but I'm going to watch you do it because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, you know what? I take accountability on myself for that, and I'm going to take full punishment.
It's okay.
Full punishment.
And just so the onesies know, we're not missing any shows during the holiday break here. We've got this one plus another one next week, although we recorded that one a week ago, so it's kind of disjointed, out of order, and if I repeated some stories, my apologies.
Punish me.
All right. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.